Hello everyone, I am starting a new tutorial about interactive terrain. This tutorial will be targeting people who has some experience with Unity and C# coding. If you are looking for more beginner tutorials, this is my plan for the future. You can actually leave some comments if you're looking for some specific topics. So in the end of this tutorial, we will create some interaction with the terrain, where any NPC or player itself, by walking on terrain, will be leaving some trail. We'll be working with we will be painting terrain with 3 different layers. After implementing the 3rd layer, you will see the pattern. I will cover this one, so you can actually, in your game, you can add even more than 3 layers. In my own personal opinion, 3 layers is more than what you need. After we're covering basics with terrain and alpha map, we'll be start interacting with the grass, and each time NPC will be passing, it will leave a trail on the grass. We'll be adjusting the variables and numbers. So how much trail you want to, how much trail you want to press this grass. So how are you affecting the grass? How wide you want, depending what who is walking on that grass. So it could be a horse, it could be carriage, or just a player. And additional to this, we'll be interacting with the nav mesh, where we'll set different costs for a different terrain, like layer. So other NPCs should to choose to walk the same path as it's least cost to reach and to the target. On the top of that one, I'll cover in the end as well how we can actually play the sound depending on what terrain is walking, if it's a snow or mud or is it grass. And what the key point of this approach is that you can actually play multiple sounds depending of how much snow and the grass is in the terrain painted. So you can actually change the volume of each sound and combine all of them together to give you a bit more realistic experience for a player. What else? Yes, and the end goal, and the main goal of this whole tutorial is actually to do in most efficient way. Our game is still must run no less than 60 frames. This is one of the key points. Saw a lot of messages in the forums, and I was struggling to find any tutorial video from start to beginning about terrain. So I'll try to share my experience and my my approach, how I achieve this one. And the top and the end, if you still will be watching these tutorials, we will use the Unity job system, and we'll create we'll be using another thread to do these calculations, to be able interact with terrain from many NPCs in the map. Where it could be used, one of the examples, it's here. I'm building in the game. It's really early days to actually even to give some information about it. But one of the key points is the player will be building a village to city and so on and so on. So it will be building your town. This way. So each NPC, woodcutter or gathering the berries, will be going from one building to another building and to maybe gather some goodies. And each time all NPCs on your map will be walking, they will be actually building your city from day one. All the paths they are making will be grown, and actually in the end you can unlock the person to even layers to lay down like a path from a stone and so on and so on. So I think this is really a small detail to the game, gives a lot great experience for a player, but it requires a high detail coding, high quality of the coding to be done to actually not lose any performance. Most of game developers, what I saw is not worth effort for just interact with the grass or this one and lose like 20 FPS, and suddenly you have just 40 FPS left, etc. And this is the goal of this tutorial. We'll try to do this small bit, and don't lose any FPS. So as I mentioned before, you need some Unity experience in this one. Later, if I don't know when you're watching this one, this is my first video, but later I'll make some beginners as well, so we're covering all the basics. And if you're coming now, if you're now coming from beginners to here, that's a good point. If you are a beginner, I will advise you to have a look for beginner tutorials first before you starting this one, because this is quite advanced stuff. Still covering some a lot of basic things. I'm still covering like such a basic things like a class. In my own understanding, I still cover it about properties and more advanced things like constructor and deconstructor and what's happening in the memory. So yeah, I hope so you will all enjoy these tutorials. I'm already made a first video, then I just realized that I need to cover a bit where's the end goal. So if I repeat myself in the following video, sorry about that one. Just making this video to explain it, where we're going with all this tutorials. So let's start it. Thanks for watching. And